Welcome to Awesome Angela's Amateur Hour. I'm your host, Angela. My guest today is Vic Carbone. What do? You do comedy, stand-up comedy?
Yes.
Tell me a bit about that.
I could do it sitting down too.
Oh, okay.
But tell me a little bit about.
When did you start?
I started about 2005 in New York City.
Okay.
Bounced around to the different clubs. And now lately I've been getting into it more seriously. But back then, because in 2006, 7, I kind of got sidetracked with work and having to leave town to do certain other things. And then I'm back in a loop though.
And let me ask you, is it nerve-wracking when
Yes.
when you make a joke and nobody laughs?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Has that ever happened?
I'd rather have people boo or hiss or comment negatively than just be silent.
Right. Are you a fan of any other comedies?
Yeah, I
comedians?
like Jim Gaffigan because of his deadpan approach, the way he projects so just nonchalantly and matter-of-factly. I like Kevin James because I like his animated act-outs. I like Ellen DeGeneres because of her dancing, which has nothing to do with comedy, but
but it's funny.
Yeah.
Is there anything you do that always gets the crowd laughing?
I do like poetry too. I do comedic poetry. I do performance pieces. Maybe I'll give you a demonstration of that. And lately I've been trying to get hooked into like what happens in real life, and make that assimilate into the brain, into the nervous system and whatever, and try to cut the fat off of all the wordiness about it and project the emotion of what happens.
It sounds complicated.
Yeah, it's a process. It's a process.
So what kind of places do you perform at?
I did poetry venues in the city, like the Bowery Poetry Club. I've done there's a thing called One on One in the East Village. Plus I've done that's for particular events. I do poetry out in Suffolk County. At a place called the Poetry Place in Patchogue. But I do stand-up comedy too. Do
you get paid for any of it, or?
I got paid every once in a while. I was in what they call the comedy shootout back in 2004, 2005 rather, at the Brokerage Comedy Club amongst 17 comics or so, and I came in second place. And that time I did get some kind of payment.
And did you know as a kid that you weren't always the funny kid?
No.
It's not always something you wanted to do?
No, I was a sourpuss.
Yeah?
As a kid, yeah.
Well, I'd like to see a performance. I think we're going to get to that now. Let's take a look at Vic Carbone's comedy.
New Year's resolution. I told my girl that for you, babe, I'm going to get myself straight. I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to stop procrastinating. I'm going to get a for-real job. Right? And she answered me with such openness and honesty. She said, whatever. So for that year, it took me a whole year to get this thing straight, So for that year, she stayed off my back and she gave me the space I needed to work things through, to stay away from stuff like alcohol and the things that kept me getting sidetracked. She stayed off my back, gave me the space I needed. Yes, she left me. All right, so it's not exactly that she left me, but she made herself so difficult and impossible to be around. She would say things like, "Get the hell out!" I miss her. I miss the intimacy. Okay, she was quite the little freak in the bedroom. Well, that's what I heard. There are these TV commercials now that try to grab you. They try to scare you using acronyms. As if suddenly, if you call something like, say, we had nervous twitches all our life. Now if you call it something like RLS, restless leg syndrome, it becomes a serious medical issue. We've all had nervous muscle spasms. I seen this commercial. I was sitting with my friend, we were in a sports bar. We saw the commercial for AGE, acute gastroexpansia. And he gets all, he's taken in by this, and he's like, wow, maybe I should do something about this. I've been feeling kind of bloated lately. And I says, Bill, maybe you could pop a gas X for all of your internal adventures. Or you could just back off the 11 Heinekens a night, you fat bastard. So I saw this thing, restless leg syndrome, RLS. And I was wondering, I mean, what happens when I'm stuck in traffic or someone cuts me off? And I have the sudden, undying urge to want to communicate with my fellow motorists using sign language. Is there an acronym for that condition? Maybe it could be called EMDC, Extended Middle Digit Complex. I was standing online at the DMV, and the line is moving so slow, and I'm running late. And I wish there was someone there that you could appeal to, someone you could reach out to. Maybe the person online in front of you, and just maybe start choking the living piss out of them. All right, you can't really do that, but actually you would get to vent, and it's not that terrible, because you're getting him from behind. It's not as if you're going to crush his windpipe or anything. Remember, guys, if you're into this sort of thing and you have to do it, safety first. Maybe the safer thing would be, to nonchalantly kick his legs out from under him. And while he's down, just, gently start stomping the hell out of him. Actually, in court, in front of the judge, you could always say, Your Honor, I couldn't help myself. I have restless leg syndrome. But really, you can't just randomly single out someone to beat up. Because depending on who the person is, it might be viewed as being a hate crime. For instance, off limits are the Asian, the black, Latino, gay and lesbian, Pakistani, the Indian, Polish, the Russian Jew, the Irish Catholic, German, French, Italian, transvestites, fat people, circus midgets, and pantomimes. Other than that, the field's wide open. But if you single someone out to beat up based on his race, creed, or color, that's considered being a hate crime. And that's a serious crime. But yet, and this makes me nuts, if you beat someone up, you take his wallet, you take his belongings. That's also a crime, but less so. And if we follow this distorted line of thinking and to get as far as we could away from it being a hate crime, what if you now start expressing positive affirmations towards your victim as you proceed to beat the living crap out of him? Maybe you could say things like, ooh, I love you so hard I could just nudge you right into a coma. I'm sure that to the person hooked up to life support, it would be such a relief knowing that he was not a victim of a hate crime. Sometimes I like to drive a point home. I would do this performance piece. And it would take in all of my need to get to the point of hate crimes and prescription medications and acronyms. So I put it all together in a piece called Symptoms and Side Effects, which I'd like to do. Back in the day, in Catholic school, there was no such thing as special ed. Kids like me were placed in a specific isolated group. We were known as, morons. But they had learning aids back then that would probably still be effective today if they was legal, such as the backhand, the hair pull, left hook, body blow, groin shot, stick switch, straight stick, swift kick, elbow smash, eye poke, straight right, throat choke, and the sissy slap. All of which certainly got a kid's attention. Okay, so there was a couple of minor side effects like black eye, fat lip, chipped tooth, broke nose, bruised rib, internal bleeding, concussions, contusions, contortions. bruised ego, nervous tics, and all accompanied by high fever. But now all of that's been replaced by just one sophisticated learning aid called Ritalin, a prescription drug used to address the effects of ADD in the classroom, such as short attention span, hyperactivity, belligerence, cussing out, hand gestures, screaming, spitting, shitting, and pissing your designer bloomers. But even Ritalin comes with its own specific suite of side effects, such as the tendency to daydream, lethargy, whining, crying, vomiting, hysteria, diarrhea, nosebleeds, bedwetting, and farting out rap tunes. As an adult, I've been diagnosed with MDD, major depressive disorder, which manifests itself as sadness, extreme joy, thoughts of dismemberment, the need to belt out Christmas carols in public in mid-July, the need to dress gothically complete with black lipstick and tree nose rings, a tendency towards the same recurring dream that I'm being sexually molested by adult-sized Disney characters in Nazi uniform on stage at the Apollo. My doctor has prescribed Zoloft with its myriad of side effects such as blurred vision, hair loss, weight gain, high blood pressure, low testosterone, and tendency to talk funny, schizophrenia, thoughts of suicide. Hand me that thing, please load it first. I'll put it to my head, pull the friggin' trigger. You, in essence, need a pill to rectify the side effect of the pill you just now took, if not 30 minutes ago. And as long as there's pain and dysfunction, there will always be a pill for someone to profit by. Such as, you need a pill to pick you up, a pill to calm you down, a pill to help you breathe, a pill to let you sleep, a pill to make your husband grow breasts. Well, then shouldn't there be a pill to make him walk funny? You need a pill to quit your smoking, pill to stop you choking, pill to curb your peeing, pill to keep you binded. What adverse effect to certain foods and alcohol that'll make you crap water? You need a pill to score the knack, a pill to stop your black, a pill to curb your shout-outs of obscenities in public if you have that condition known as. And if someone could only say Tourette syndrome, I would say, and how long have you had this condition? Thinking that when you said Tourette syndrome, you had cursed me out in French. And yet and still, there ain't a single friggin' pill that can help you to think straight, because we're bombarded with confusing messages used to hook us in, make us think that we're broken and incomplete, so that someone could sell us weight loss products, hair loss cream, skin salves, antidepressants, and Viagra. But you have to come to think, feel, and really believe that you've already arrived whole and complete as is, however fat, bald, wrinkled, sad, and limp you really are. And if it's true that you have all of these conditions all at the same time and you still think you need to be medicated, then I would prescribe to just get drunk. You know, we talk about religious extremism, but it's nothing new for me. I was exposed to religious extremists since I was this high. In Catholic school, at the hands of the Catholic Sisters of St. Aloysius in Brooklyn. They would ordain this ethnic cleansing if you didn't abide by the Holy Catechism, with backhands and hair pulls. But my religious hero back then was our Catholic school principal. She was my role model, Mother Albert Marie. Yes, her name was Albert. But she was a compassionate woman because she wouldn't humiliate you with any open-handed sissy slaps, like the other nuns in front of your classmates. But she would just get right in there, mixing up body and head shots like a seasoned street fighter. When she threw the left hook and you seen them rosary beads whipping around, you knew you was getting your ass kicked by a woman of reverence. So I'd like to leave you with this little poem I wrote as a dedication to my role model, Mother Albert. Oh, Mother Albert, so full of grace, your heavy hands upon my face. To your blessed mercy we would appeal, that you'd give us time for the wounds to heal. And when I thought the assault would end, one more knee to my groin you'd send. Oh, how thoroughly you have beaten my ass. But as heroes go, you're unsurpassed. A song of love to thee I'd sing, but I ain't no singer. So if not my heart, then take this little finger. Thank you.
And welcome back. That was a very nice job.
Thank you.
Got a lot of laughs.
I hope so.
Now, where are you performing in the future? Any places coming up?
Yeah, the Broadway Comedy Club and the New York Comedy Club. Also, I have like a show that I'm doing at the Poetry Place in Patchogue on Waverly Avenue, Patchogue, sometime in November. All three of these dates are not exactly. I have dates.
Okay.
But I'm not. I don't have them off the top of my head.
Is there a way people can contact you online?
Yes, they can contact me through Clearflow, my email. Clearflow@hotmail.com.
Okay.
And they could look up Vic Carbone comic on Facebook.
Okay. And that routine that you did, is that a standard routine that you always do?
Symptoms and side effects?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which one's your most successful, would you say?
It depends, because if I do symptoms and side effects, the suicide bombers lament go in pieces. That goes over real well with a poetry crowd. Or performance crowd. But the stuff like talking about sobriety and talking about hate crimes, prescription medication, it goes over big in the comedy clubs.
How long does it take you to memorize something like that?
Well, the thing is, I used to be big on memorizing a lot of material, and there has a tendency of when it's new and you're going up there to use it, that you get jammed up in your own head trying to memorize it, and you're less disconnected with the audience.
Right.
So now I'm trying to memorize less and be able to just speak key points that I have to memorize. And the rest of all the other stuff in between, I just want to flow and connect with the audience and make it be spontaneous and in the moment.
Right.
And off the top of my head.
Would you say it's sort of like telling a story?
Yes.
Yeah.
Storytelling is big.
Now, when you have new material, would you like test it out on your family and your friends first? Is that something you do?
A good place to go to test it out would be open mics, where you're performing in front of other performers. And that would be a good place, because they would it's a good gauge of you getting honest feedback.
Okay. Well, I want to thank my guest, Vic Carbone. Thank you again for coming on.
Thanks.
Love the performance. If you want.
Thanks for the opportunity to air it out.
You're welcome. So thanks again for joining us. If you want, you can contact him, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Put up the graphic. Good evening and welcome to Angela's Awesome Amateur Hour. I don't know. What is it? Okay, put it up again. Welcome to Angela's. Fuck.
Oh, God. Well, I'll help you. I'll help you.
Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 4. Nick, can you zoom out a little more? I don't have my glasses.
Here.
It gives me these glasses.
Why, you ain't gonna work?